Module 1A. You will hear people talking in 6 different situations. For questions 1 to 6, choose the best answer A, B or C. 1. You overhear 2 friends talking. Why is Julie happy? A. Because she's starting university in September. B. Because she's going to New York. C. Because she's going shopping.
You're looking very happy. Have you had some good news?
I'm going to New York.
That's fantastic.
My aunt lives in Manhattan, so I'm going to stay with her.
You'll be able to do lots of shopping.
I know. I can't wait. I'm going to get some new clothes because I'm starting university in September.
You're so lucky. You're going to look really cool. You must go to Century 21. I've heard they sell designer clothes there and they're a bit cheaper.
I will.
2. You overhear this conversation. Where did the 2 women first meet? A. At school. B. In the art gallery. C. In Wales.
Excuse me. You look just like someone I went to school with. Are you Emma Jones?
Sue? Is that you? How are you?
I'm fine. So what have you been up to all these years?
I'm a doctor now and I got married last year.
Congratulations, that's wonderful news. So, what do you think of the exhibition?
The paintings are beautiful, especially this Welsh landscape. I can almost smell the flowers.
That's a relief.
Why? Oh, are you the artist?
Yes.
Well done, Sue. You're very talented.
3. You overhear somebody talking on the phone. Why is he not going to the wedding? A. Because he has to go to a birthday party. B. Because he has to pick someone up from the airport. C. Because he has to go to a seminar.
I know you want to go to the wedding, but we have to go to my mother's birthday party. Yes, I know Jane is a close friend, but my mother will be upset if we don't go. The whole family will be there, even David. I'm picking him up from the airport on Saturday morning. Anyway, did you order the flowers? Good. Now, about Jane. Let's meet later and get the wedding gift. We'll buy them something nice to make up for not going, okay? I've got to go now. I'm on my way to a seminar. Right, the one I was telling you about the other day.
4. You hear a conversation between 2 friends. How did Alex break his leg? A. Playing football. B. Snorkeling. C. Snowboarding.
What happened to your leg? Don't tell me you broke it in the football match on Saturday. You were playing, weren't you?
Yeah, but afterwards I went snowboarding.
Snowboarding? Cool.
It was until I hit the tree.
Oh, no. I can't believe your mum let you go. Remember when I wanted you to come snorkeling and she said no way?
It took a lot of persuasion, but since I did okay in my exams, she gave in.
I bet she wasn't too pleased when you came back on crutches.
You should have seen the look on her face.
5. You overhear a brother and sister talking. Which excursion did the sister like best? A. The Old Town. B. The Valley of Butterflies. C. The Villages.
Hey sis, how was your holiday?
It was fantastic. We went to Rhodes. The hotel had its own private beach and pool. I just sunbathed most of the time or went for a swim in the sea. It was lovely. The water was crystal clear. The kids' club kept Jenny busy in the afternoons. We walked around the old town and visited the palace of the Grand Master, which was really impressive. We also went on some excursions to nearby villages, but my favourite was the trip to the Valley of Butterflies. It was lovely. There are all these little waterfalls, and the butterflies were beautiful.
Sounds like you had fun.
6. You overhear a woman talking to her aunt. Why is her aunt bored? A. Because she's doing an art history course. B. Because she's retired. C. Because she's tired of working.
It looks delicious, Aunt Mary. You really shouldn't have gone to all this trouble.
That's all right, dear. It gives me something to do. Since I stopped working, I'm so lonely and bored. I spend most of my time watching TV or peering out the window at the neighbours.
Why don't you do a course? Is there anything you're interested in?
I don't know.
You like art, so why not do an art history course?
I don't know. What would that involve?
Tell you what, I'll find out.
All right, dear.
Speaking. Warm up. Why is it important to have friends? What do you enjoy doing most with your friends? Why is it important to have friends? Well, that's an excellent question. On a basic level, friends are important for our mental well-being because they provide companionship and stop us from feeling lonely. But I think it goes much deeper than that. Good friends act as a support network. They are there to celebrate your successes, which makes the good times even better. Perhaps more importantly, they offer a shoulder to cry on when you face difficulties. Simply talking about a problem can make it feel much lighter. Another key point is personal growth. Friends often challenge our ideas and introduce us to new hobbies, perspectives, and ways of thinking. In a way, they help us to learn more about ourselves. There's even a well-known saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This suggests that our friends have a significant influence on who we become, which makes choosing them wisely rather important. What do you enjoy doing most with your friends? Oh, there are so many things, but if I had to choose one, I'd say I most enjoy having a good long chinwag over a cup of tea or perhaps a pint at the local pub. While going to the cinema or for a hike is lovely, what I truly value is the simple act of conversation. It's during these chats that you catch up on each other's lives, share funny stories, and discuss everything from serious matters to absolute nonsense. It's incredibly therapeutic. There's a specific joy in that shared laughter or that moment when you give each other good advice. It strengthens the bond in a way that just passively watching a film doesn't always do. So for me, it's less about the activity itself and more about the quality time and the connection that comes from a proper talk. Vocabulary tip. Chinwag, British English idiom, a friendly chat or gossip, a very common informal word. Therapeutic, having a healing effect, making you feel relaxed and happy. The local, a common shortening of the local pub. Focus on pictures. A. Look at the photographs A and B. compare the photographs and say how you think the people feel. You can use some of the words and expressions in the boxes. The girls in are seem to be, whereas I believe the girls in is are, because the girls in must be feeling. B. Look at the photographs again. Do you ever have moments like these with your friends? A. Compare the photographs and say how you think the people feel. Well, looking at these two photographs, they show very different social situations. In photograph A, there are two girls who seem to be having a very intense and probably private conversation in a cafe. Their body language is quite closed. They are leaning in closely, and one of them is resting her head on her hand. I believe the girls in photo A must be feeling quite pensive, or perhaps even a little subdued, because they aren't smiling and appear to be discussing something serious or personal. Whereas in photograph B, the atmosphere is completely the opposite. A group of friends are laughing together, seemingly on a night out. They are leaning towards each other with big, open smiles. The girl in the center must be feeling elated, and the whole group seems to be in high spirits because they are sharing a moment of genuine joy and laughter. The key difference is that photo A captures a moment of quiet camaraderie, while photo B shows a burst of shared excitement. Do you ever have moments like these with your friends? Absolutely. I think both types of moments are essential in a friendship. I definitely have moments like the one in photo B. For example, when we're celebrating a birthday or simply when someone tells a very funny story. That feeling of collective laughter is infectious and really strengthens your bond. But perhaps more importantly, I also value moments like the one in photo A. True friendship isn't just about the fun times. It's about being able to sit down with a cup of tea and talk about things that are worrying you. Having a friend who listens when you're feeling pensive is invaluable. So yes, I'm fortunate to have friends for both the laughter and the quiet conversations. 3. Further discussion. How easy is it for you to make new friends? Do you think it's better to have one best friend or lots of good friends? What do you argue about with your friends, and how do you resolve your differences? How easy is it for you to make new friends? That's an interesting one. I'd say it's a bit of a mixed bag. I find it relatively easy to make acquaintances, people you chat to pleasantly at work or in a club. Breaking the ice isn't too difficult. However, turning an acquaintance into a genuine friend, the kind you'd call in a crisis, that takes more time and effort for me. It requires a degree of vulnerability from both sides, sharing more personal thoughts and experiences. As an adult, life gets busy, and you have to be quite intentional about making plans and nurturing that new connection. So the initial step is okay, but the follow-through is where the real work lies. Do you think it's better to have one best friend or lots of good friends? I can see the merits of both, to be honest. Having one best friend can be wonderful because you have a single person who knows you inside out. There's a deep level of trust and understanding that is very special. On the other hand, having a circle of good friends means you have a more diverse support system. Different friends can fulfill different needs. One might be great for adventurous holidays, another for intellectual debates, and another for quiet comfort. They each bring something unique to your life. I suppose the ideal scenario is to have a combination. Perhaps one or two very close, best friends, complemented by a wider circle of good friends. That way, you get both depth and variety. What do you argue about with your friends, and how do you resolve your differences? Thankfully, I don't have arguments often, but occasional disagreements are natural. They're usually over quite trivial things, like deciding what film to watch or where to go for dinner. Sometimes they can be about more sensitive topics, like one person feeling they are putting more effort into the friendship than the other. The key to resolution, I find, is communication. The worst thing you can do is sweep it under the carpet and let resentment build. We usually resolve it by talking it out calmly, often after we've both had a moment to cool down. It's important to listen to the other person's perspective without interrupting and to express your own feelings without blaming them. Usually, a simple, honest conversation and a willingness to compromise is enough to sort it out. Vocabulary tip: disagreements. A lack of consensus or approval. Softer than argument. Sweep it under the carpet. To hide a problem or try to forget about it. Compromise. An agreement where both sides make concessions.